How do you feel about the Honorable Louis Farrakhan coming to Houston, Texas for Family Day?
Well, I just want to hear what he has to say.
How about you, my brother?
Well, I tried to come down here when last time he was down here, and I couldn't really get in. So this time I went and got a ticket. I like to hear, because it's the only person I know that has a positive message for the black man.
I think it's important for black kids my age to listen to what he has to say. And I think he's putting out a positive message.
I'm very, very thrilled to be here, and I think it's an honor to be in his presence.
I think it's great. I came specifically to hear Farrakhan speak.
I think it's a wonderful feeling for him to come. I think it's real good because he's a positive role model for us all.
I think it's great. I think it's very inspirational for everybody. I hope that it gets very crowded up here because I think everybody needs to hear what he has to say. And I'm so happy to be here, and I can't wait to hear what he has to say. And my name is LaQuinta Robinson. I'm Louis Farrakhan. I love you.
I really appreciate him doing something for the family since I missed him on his last visit to Houston. And I think this is something my son really needs to hear. I know he's young, but I feel he really needs to hear the message.
I've been asking sometime some of the brothers on the streets and stuff that sell the papers if he was coming out, and they said they was going to do their best to try and get him here. And also, I think it's a great thing for him to come here and speak to some of the brothers.
I didn't get an opportunity to hear him speak the first time when he came to Houston at TSU, but that was the one thing that got us to come today was the fact that he was going to be here. So we're really excited to hear him speak.
I wanted to catch him last time he was in Houston, but unfortunately I wasn't able to see him. But we need more people like Mr. Louis Farrakhan to speak out for the black people, and let the people know that there is a place that they can be in, somebody that they can go to, and somebody that they can talk to.
I think that he's a good role model for all our black race. I feel that he uplifts us by saying positive things.
I think it's a great thing.
I agree. He's promoting a lot of black and a lot of with the family, and that's what's basically has been lost right now is a lot of our family values, and that's what we need to get back on that right track with the family values.
I'm really excited. I've been waiting to hear him for a long time, and I'm glad that I finally have the chance to do so.
I'm just very interested in hearing what he has to say. I've never heard him speak before, and I'm very interested in hearing what he has to say.
Well, I think it's a great idea. I've been following Farrakhan since the 80s, mid-80s, and I think what he has to say has a lot of importance to the community as a whole. So I think this is a great idea.
I think it's great. I think he should come more often. It'd be better. But it's great. It's good.
I think it's it's quite different that they would have somebody like Public Enemy and those type people, but I imagine that he's trying to capture the younger audience, so I welcome it.
Oh, I think he's doing a wonderful job with our youth and all of our people, and I'm for him.
I think it's an honor and a privilege to be here to listen to Brother Farrakhan. I think he has some deep-seated and deep-rooted philosophies in the African heritage, and I think what he's saying is really the correct way for the black population.
Jesus and the gospel of the New Testament. We thank Allah for giving us Muhammad and the Quran. Peace be upon all of these worthy servants of God. I thank Allah for raising in our midst a divine leader, teacher, and guide who is teaching us the wisdom of the Torah, the Gospel, and the Quran as they relate to a plan of salvation for the black man and woman of America, for all oppressed people on this earth, and for the total human family. I'm very happy and honored to greet all of you, my dear brothers and sisters, with the greeting words of peace. In the Arabic language, we say, Assalamu alaikum. And to those of you who are unfamiliar with those words, they mean in English, peace. Peace be unto you.
Turn it up. Turn it up.
Turn it up.
My name is D. 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 D.A. Smart. That's Kenny XD. cool heads and call.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. God is great.
This is about D.A. Smart and his destiny. This is about what's deeply invested in me. This is about what they kept as a mystery. What is it about your black history? Back in the days when black men were slaves, we can go off and rage because we was locked in jail. They constantly remind us without the boot. They put stuff on TV like Roots. I'm sitting there watching them with my hand on the trigger. My anger is getting bigger as they call me nigga. They whipping me and whip me almost every day. Trying to take my name to Toby when it's good to get day. Then I look to my left and there stand my kid. So I scream my name Toby so then I can live. I can't take it no more so I shut up the TV. Now if a white man mess with me, he'll be 6 feet deep. That's my mentality, brother, for what they've done in the past. They got rid of us then, it's still trying to get rid of us then. Just to show so you can know that white people ain't it. Emmett Till got killed just for whistling at a white snitch. They killed blacks and whites without thinking. He's so-called free state that shot the hell out of Lincoln. Now when he changed his way, they killed Malcolm X. 2 years down the line, Martin King was next. The struggle has started, it ain't over yet. Now y'all should understand why the hell I'm upset. Because they'll take all them bitches, say the white man made it. They know we got them faded, they got too much pride to state it. I hate it, like the chain that's on the crowd and both. We beat and messed on each other, they laughed and made jokes. They took a black girl, hung her up on the cross. She was 8 months pregnant, her hope was lost. Arms spread and wide, they cut a baby from her stomach. It fell on the ground, they crushed it and stoked it. Now how in the heck you expect me to take this? The chains was just too heavy for my wrist. Now what have we done to accept this punishment? Living for thousands of years in bondage. They treat us like animals and locked us in chains. Told us to speak their language and then they changed our name. But what did we do when they came to our land? We welcomed them in as though they were some black men. They bribed our leaders with rum and gold. And with that bribe, black men were sold. So they bring us to America, treat us like rats. But when they were in Africa, was it like that? Nope, I figured it out. The whole meaning of prejudice, the meaning of the word is just plain jealous. They jealous of the fact that blacks was in first. See, the white man came, the black man was cursed. All whites are evil. I treat them politely, I just mistreat those that mistreat me. They really think that whites are supreme, see? They don't feel you are equal human beings. Now that's the reason blacks think they're bad. Black people ain't prejudiced, we just mad. Yeah. Happy Family Day. Yo, it's D.A. Smart, my homie Kenny X. We finna just wreck and let you know what's next. Going old school, this is the new school stop. Kenny X make it go fast. The human music composer. Kenny X, the human music composer. Go. Give it to him. Give it to him. Get it to him. Count for him. Count. What? 1, 2. Come on, Kenny. Come on. What? How many is that? 1, 2. Point at your people. Look at. Come on. Yeah. What? Speed it up. Yeah. Take 'em. Okay, in the beginning, God made the heavens and the earth. You heard it before, so chapter 1:26 verse. God said in the biblical rights, let us make man in our image and a likeness. Image, a representation of a person or thing. Question, is God the supreme human being? Or is he a spook or a mystery? And hey, are we not the men that God made? And I'm a human just like you, G. If I'm his reflection, One more time, can they hit it? Right there. What? Yeah, coming to the Black Family Day. D.A. Kenny X just hit a sleigh. We don't play. Coming from the nation of Islam, follows of Farrakhan. So better recognize this freestyle. I'm at the Astrodome right now, rocking on stage. This is how we break them. We out of here. Peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Brothers and sisters, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, the one God to whom praise is forever due, we thank Him for Moses and the Torah, for Jesus and the Gospel, for Muhammad and the Quran. I personally am eternally grateful to God for blessing us with our beloved leader, teacher, and guide, the messenger of Allah, the Messiah to us, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I greet all of you, my dear and wonderful brothers and sisters, with the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum. To Minister Robert Muhammad, to the Family Day Committee, to all of those who worked so hard to make this event possible, to 102 Jam, to TC Bandit, to all of the performers who performed tonight. Each and every one of these brothers and sisters, starting with the St. Agnes Choir, and Stephanie Mills, to our brothers and sisters who performed all the way to Ice Cube. This was a marvelous expression of family. And I thank Allah, the Most High, for the honor and privilege of being here in Houston tonight to share the stage with such magnificent performers and musicians as those who performed for all of us tonight. Each one of these brothers and sisters gave of themselves, their time, their talent, their energy. They didn't ask for a dime. All they wanted was to be a part of something more sacred than our talent, something that will live longer than our talent, and that is the sense of family. Let us give all of our performers a wonderful, grateful round of applause. This is the first time in 20 years that I have been on a stage with performing artists. I think the last time I was on a stage with performing artists was 20 years ago in New York City at a Black Family Day rally. I am very pleased to be on the same stage with such brilliant artists as we heard and saw tonight. Public Enemy, Tommy Davidson, Gerald and Eddie Levert, Johnny Gill, Ice Cube, the musicians, Bill Bellamy, Stephanie Mills. That's family. And what I want to talk to you tonight in just a few minutes that we have remaining, what is family and what constitutes a strong family? A family is a unit brought together by common bond of blood, of genetic commonality, of history, of culture, of language in a common place. Family. The smallest unit of family is composed of a mother, a father, and a child. The stronger the unit of mother and father, the stronger the child produced from that unit. Therefore, when God instituted family, he also instituted laws to protect the family. For anything that erodes family erodes community and nation. Therefore, when God gave the law to Israel, he punished any act that interfered with family with death. That's how sacred family is to God. Anybody who will break into the sanctity of marriage is not just an enemy to that family, but is an enemy to the nation and an enemy to the God who has created family. So the interference of adultery in family was punished in the time of Moses by death. God never wanted a man to act like a woman, so he punished that with death. God never wanted a woman to act like a man, so he punished that with death. That's in your Bible. Go read it. You say, well, that's old time stuff. This is a new day. It's a rotten day. It's a day when family is destroyed. It's a day when marriage is destroyed. It's a day when men are confused and don't know what a man is anymore. And women are confused and don't know what a woman is anymore. And a man can't expect from a woman what he should expect. And certainly the woman cannot expect from a man what she should expect. Therefore, with every marriage, 50 to 60% of all marriages end up in divorce. But that's our choice. We chose the woman chose the man to make a family. But before we could make the family, we fell out with each other. The mother is pregnant. The baby is on the way. But the mother and the father have found they're at odds with each other. Why? Because they didn't enter that sacred covenant in the right spirit, with the right mind. We fell in love with your bosom. We fell in love with your hips. You fell in love with his hair. You fell in love with his good looks and his strong body, but no good looks, no good hair, no bosom, no hips, no lips can make a family. It takes something deeper than that to make a family. Family must start with strong marriage. The world has messed up the basic unit. Family is centered in that which is called a home. A house is not a home. We can live in a house, but it doesn't become a home until a spirit enters that house to make it a home. You can be in an apartment, but if there's love between the man and the woman, there's respect, there's kindness, there's commitment, then the house becomes a home. And the cornerstone of the home is the woman. But if the man has no job, if the man has no money, if the man has no way to keep up his own responsibility to care for and provide for his wife and his children, then the poor man is a broken man. And the black man is not only broken by white society, but he's broken by the fact that he has not the ability to care for what his sperm has produced. We all got the ability, most of us, to produce a baby. But do we have the ability to provide for, to nurture, to evolve, to develop what the sperm has produced? We're talking about what constitutes a strong family. Well, once the man is destroyed, he's out of the house. He don't feel like the house is a home because he's not contributing anything to that. He's broken. He's dispirited. He's beat down. His wife don't understand the nature of that man. The man doesn't understand the nature of himself. He's born to be a provider. He's born to be a producer. And when he's not producing and not providing, it stresses his mind. He doesn't even realize why he's so stressed that when the baby cries, he beats it excessively. So there's child abuse now in the home. When we were coming up some years ago, Mama beat our butts. We didn't call it child abuse. We called it disciplining what we brought in the world. But now the laws of the government are against family. The Bible says, spare the rod, spoil the child. So now if I beat my child and a whelp comes up on the behind, you haul the father or the mother into court and say we're not good parents because we're being violent. But when the government has a problem in Haiti and wants to overturn a government in Haiti, in Nicaragua, in Panama, in Iraq, in Iran, wherever America has a problem, she'll send for your son, not to be beat on the butt, but to be shot to death. You join the army, you join the Navy to be made killers, but I, as a father, and you, as a mother, are denied a basic human right to discipline our own children and make them responsive to what is proper, what is right, what is law. No child should be abused. We shouldn't take out our frustrations on these little magnificent children. But the Bible is not wrong. You don't spare the rod and spoil the child. If you got a house that is a real home, then the home becomes the place where you nurture character in your children. The home and the family is where you teach sister and brother how to resolve their conflicts without resorting to violence. The parent steps in and acts as a judge and an arbitrator in the disputes of the children, so that the children learn how to tolerate the weakness or the strengths of each other. The parent looks for envy and enmity and jealousy in the children and begins to instruct them and teach them. Then from the home, they go to the neighborhood school. You don't bus your children all the way on the other side of town. You send your children to meet with their neighbors' children in the neighborhood school, whether it is black, whether it is white, whether it is Hispanic. That is not the problem. The problem is the madness that you teach in the school, not who we go to school with. I want you to listen. Then your child, as well as yourself, go to church. And the school and the church are in the same neighborhood. In the church, pastor should be feeding on what mom and dad put in the first teaching in the home. School should enlarge upon it. Church should build upon it. Church should instruct the parents how to rear your children. School should advance the rearing process. But what is happening today? You take the wife out of the home. Dear sisters, God is not against your professional gifts and talents. He gave you your gifts. But the greatest of all gifts to a woman is the gift of life. That from your precious womb will come the extension of that family to generate that seed into the future. So your number one job is not being a doctor, not being a lawyer, not being a bus driver, not being a corporate executive. When you become a mother, you cannot abandon your children for some damn job. Your job is your children. Listen, I know you gotta work. I understand. And that's our fault, brothers. Because as men, it is our responsibility once she becomes with child. Sweetheart, I'll take care of this. You gotta step up to the plate. Well, you see, man, I ain't got no education and I don't have training. I don't know what to do. You hustle. You know what to do. All you gotta do is remember who you are and who you're connected to. The birds eat. The lowliest worm eats. The fish that is in the depth of the sea eats. The tiniest microscopic creature eats. Man is made in the image and likeness of God. So man has the ability and the power to say be and bring into existence what he wants. How dare us as men let a minuscule tadpole eat, a bird feed its young, a lioness look out for the cubs, and you run away from your responsibility as a mother and as a father to your children. That's our responsibility. And as a man, you can't gain respect until you take up your responsibility as a man to look out for what you helped to bring into this world. Even if we don't get along with the wife anymore, the children are here. How dare you eat and don't think about your children? Why must the governor of the state of Texas take care of our responsibility? No wonder they call us boys. No wonder they don't have any respect for us as men. Because you don't respect yourself if you don't respect your offspring. And then when you get sick and are ready to die, you look for the same offspring you didn't do anything for. to come by your side and remember you as a father. But they can't remember us as fathers if we forget them when they're young. Family, under the guidance of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he taught us to make us men. A man can't be a man without the proper knowledge. And as Hosea the prophet said, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. The black man is a good man. The black man is potentially the best man that there is. But he must have the knowledge to become what God made him. He's the original man. Before there was a father, he's a father. He's not only the father of his children, he's the father of everything that you see. He's the original man who worked with God in the creation of the heaven and the earth. He's fallen a long way down now, and he needs help to get back up. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was raised by God to give us the knowledge that would help us to be men. And then he put our sisters in a special class called the Muslim Girls Training and General Civilization class to teach our women how to respond to us as men and how to help us to become men again. And then he taught us how to rear our children. Girls are different from boys. They need a special kind of care when a girl is growing up. A girl should be in a sanctuary, a place where no one will abuse her, a place where she's safe to grow in the beauty, the tenderness, and the innocence of her love. But girls have no sanctuary. Not even in their own homes today does a girl have a sanctuary. If her father's not hitting on her, if her uncle is not hitting on her, if her brother is not hitting on her, her cousin is hitting on her, somebody in the family has disrespected what family is. And brothers, when we destroy the female, you haven't destroyed an individual. When you corrupt a female, you haven't corrupted an individual. And when you lift up the female, you haven't lifted up an individual. When you corrupt and destroy a woman, you've destroyed the family and the nation. And when you educate and lift up a woman, you're lifting up the nation. The family's cornerstone is the female. And as long as the woman is down, you have no family. She's the cornerstone of the whole thing called family. You know what the cornerstone is? It's that part of the building that has to be strong in order to uphold the weight of the whole building. It rests on the corner. Jesus is called in the Bible a tried stone, a precious cornerstone. And the female is just like the master. She's a precious cornerstone. She must be strong in order for her children to be strong. She's the homemaker. She don't let no merchant of death cook food for her husband and her young. She don't bring these cheap jive death meals into the house and throw them into a microwave oven and plop them down in front of the children. She don't take that dead-looking biscuit that's pumped up and just put a little browning on it and have the child eating dough, just raw dough. But a good mother knows what's good for her family. A good mother will take time to shop, because your kitchen is your medicine cabinet, not your doctor's office, but your kitchen is your medicine cabinet. And when you know the chemistry of food, then you know what to feed your children when they're a little anemic You know what to feed your husband when he feels a little weak and his bronchial tubes are a little tied up. You know what to give him because you are the first doctor, you are the first nurse, you are the first chemist in your house. But an ignorant woman is not a blessing to her family. An ignorant woman is a curse to the family. So anybody that denies a woman knowledge, denies a woman education, is an enemy of God, is an enemy of national development, is an enemy of community, and is a destroyer of the human family. And so, in building family, we have to see that genetically, we're the same people. Historically, we are the same. Culturally, we are the same. But they got our family divided by religion. I'm a Muslim. This one's a Christian. Another's a Hebrew. So what? These are labels. God is one. God's religion is one. God's prophetic community is one. Why shouldn't we, as the people of God, be one? So I respect my Christian brothers and sisters in their tradition. And I respect my Hebrew brothers and sisters in their tradition. And I respect the tradition of those who are Muslims. But we must never let these traditions and these rituals divide us as members of one family and cause us to fall out with each other because one wants to be a Baptist, one wants to be a Methodist, one wants to be an Episcopalian, one wants to belong to AME, the other CME, the other Church of God in Christ. One is Orthodox, one is Sunni, one is Sufi, one is Shiite. These are labels that divide the house of God. And then we've been divided by color. The lighter, the darker. That's a shame that the enemy has made us to feel because we are lighter, that we are better. The Quran says, I have created you in tribes and families that you may know one another parenthetically and not despise one another. We as black people are a family. We are a tribe enlarged, a large family. The Chicano, the La Raza, that is a family. The Asian, that is a family. The whites, that is a family. God created diversity in everything. There's 9 planets out there. None of them show the same color. None of them have the same size. None of them have the same water or the same atmosphere. But all are under the same law, rotating at the same rate of speed around one sun. So they are called the family of the sun. Well, here we are. Different tribes, different families that God said He created that we may know one another and not despise one another. But how come there's hatred in the black family, one against the other? How come there's hatred in the brown family against the black family and the black against the brown? And the yellow against the red, and the red against the brown, and the white against all that are non-white. How come? What happened to the family of man? What happened to the human being that he has degenerated so low that he's worse than the viper that crawls on the belly? He's more poisonous than the adder in the path of the horse. The human being is more of a reptile than the reptile, more a serpent than the serpent, more a beast than the beast of the field. What happens? When you degenerate like that, all sense of family is gone. And so right now, we kill each other over money. Some dead president on a piece of paper means more than human life. A gold chain means more than human life. A diamond ring and a fur coat means more than human life. A Mercedes-Benz, a Cadillac, a BMW means more than human life. Look how we have fallen. This has happened because in the white family, something went wrong. In the white family, they felt that they were better because they were white, and others were less because they were not white. So they set up a system of education that promoted Eurocentric values, the culture of Europe and white people as superior to all the cultures of the earth. This forced Asians who came under their power to hate themselves and love their oppressor more than they love themselves. This broke up family so that now in China there's Chinese nationalists, Chinese communists, Chinese Democrats. All of this is the philosophy and teaching of Europeans. Now the family is divided. In Korea, there's the North divided against the South, and the South divided against the North, because the South is tied to America's democratic ideals, and the North is tied to communist or socialist ideals. So because these philosophies and ideologies can't get along, they have come in and divided the family and caused brother to shed the blood of brother. There's North Vietnam and South Vietnam. Every time the Caucasian or Western man came among the darker people, he found ways to divide the family, to put one tribe against another, one color against another, one people against another. This is what has created hatred in the human family for white people, and it has created hatred in us, one for the other. Not all white people have done this, but a significant ruling clique, a cabal of wicked demons, has sold their own people a false bill of goods and used them against the masses of black, brown, red, and yellow. So now we as black people are looked upon as the ugliest human beings on earth because of the kinkiness of our hair, or the broadness of our nose, or the thickness of our lips. But what would the world be? What would America be like if there were no Eddie and Gerald Levert, if there were no Johnny Gill, if there were no Michael Jackson, no Michael Jordan, no Mike Tyson? What would America be if there were no Jesse Jackson? What would America be if there were no black people? You would be colorless. You would be insipid and tasteless, because it is we, the black people, who give color to your society. We give dimension to it. We give flavor to it. We are like the salt of the earth. We bring out what is in you. I'm almost finished. But my dear family, the brown against the black, that's a shame. Oppressed Mexicans fighting against oppressed blacks. Oppressed blacks fighting against oppressed Mexicans. Native Americans and the black not having friendship, when it was the Native Americans who allowed us on their reservations when we were slaves running for freedom. We came in among the Seminoles in Florida, and we mixed our blood with theirs and they with ours. Everywhere in America where the black and the red were, the black and the red mixed their blood. So that when you ask a black man today, how many of you have Native American blood in you? This one will stand up and say, my great-grandfather's Apache, somebody is Chiricahua or Iroquois, somebody else is a Sioux. Isn't that right? Now, in conclusion, God is not interested in a family of your color. I'm going to say that again. It's really beautiful that we are interested in our own color. That's what we should be. We are one family. Don't move, don't move. Sit down, family. We're going to leave here like a family. Please. I sure would appreciate it. Don't miss the best part. Don't miss the best part. Thank you very much. Listen, family. Listen, listen, listen. I want to see black people united. I want to see the black family strong. I want to see us stop killing one another. I saw on television the other night the story of gangs in Little Rock, Arkansas. And I saw white gang, black gang, white, black gangs. But the thing that impressed me most of all about the gangs was when they beat them into the gang. The thing that they said is, give me love. Give me love. And when the brother hugged the brother, it said, this is my real family. Listen to what they said. This is my real family. So the gang is stronger than mama, stronger than daddy, stronger than sister or brother, because in the gang, at last, the brother and the sister found membership. They found where they belong. They found love. But they didn't find it at home. You're too busy chasing a dollar. You're too busy chasing material things. And you are too blind to see that you're driving your own children out of your house to seek the very thing that as a Christian we say, God is love. And we should love everybody. But your child don't feel your love. Your own flesh and blood doesn't feel your love. The gangs are not the failure. We have failed our children. The schools have failed our children. Reverend, the church has failed the children. So the children are finding more love, more unity in the street, in the gang. And you in the church don't have unity, organization, and love. But in the gang, they have what you don't have. So they don't want to come to church. They don't want to go to school, and they're not happy at home. How are we going to make a strong family? This is it. Brothers, sisters, where's real strength? David the psalmist said, the Lord is my light, and he is my salvation. Whom then shall I fear? The Lord is the strength my life, of whom then shall I be afraid? Who is the strength? God is. Who created family? God did. So unless God is in the picture as the center of the house, then it's not a strong family. No matter how much so-called cohesiveness you have, if God is not at the center, real strength is not at the center. And so the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that God is number one. And the greatest strength we could find is to submit our will to do the will of God. And when we submit our will to do the will of God, then the strength of God becomes the strength of our life. And the Spirit of God becomes the energy out of which we live, move, and have our being. And what is the Spirit of God? It is divine love. Not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. So when I'm governed by God, strengthened by God, submit my will to do the will of God, I'm considered a strong man. Farrakhan is a strong man. He's a strong man not because he's strong. He's strong because he submitted his will to do the will of God, and he recognizes that the Lord is the strength of his life, and therefore he speaks without fear, without trembling. He has learned to depend on God, to trust in God, and to know that God's word never fails. So he's a good provider for his family. He feeds his children not just bread, but he feeds them wisdom. So my children are reflections of the wisdom of God that I have gotten from my father and my teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So when you say, our Father, which art in heaven, then call no Christian a bastard, because no Christian whose mother is unwed can have a child that is a bastard as long as God is the Father. When you say our Father, that's the end of that. When you learn to depend on God, then you provide for your wife, you provide for your children. And what does she show you in return? She shows you love, compassion, submission. When I have a headache, my wife comes with the headache powder. If my back aches, she says, can I rub it for you? Because she's my consolation. She's my peace and my comfort. But I could never extract that from her if I didn't give her what God has put in me to give her. Do you understand? Marriage. On Monday, I will celebrate 41 years of marriage to the same woman. I have 9 children, 25 grandchildren, 1 great-grandchild. Look at your brother, 61 years of age, been teaching 40 years, but ain't no ways tired because the Lord is the strength of my life. You can't punk me out. You can't frighten me. The government can come against me. They can bring the army against me. But I'll go out against the army alone because the Lord is my shepherd and I shall not want. Who is your shepherd? Who is the strength of your life? God got to help you make your family again. man in the beginning and God made woman, then God got to make us all over again. So in my conclusion, spirit rises above color. Spirit rises above national boundary. Spirit rises above culture and tradition and history. So God is not interested in forming a family that has racial characteristics, ethnic characteristics, historical similarities, language similarities. God wants to rise above everything that has divided human beings. And therefore Paul said, in Christ, there is no Jew or Greek. There is no male or female. There is no bond or free. All become one in him. So the Christ figure of the Bible and the Mahdi or Messiah of the Quran, these are human beings who raise people above race, above culture, above ethnicity, into the spirit and mind of God. Then God's power, which is God's love, lifts us above race. But you are trying to do it in a false, hypocritical way. You want me to sleep with a white woman, but you don't want real love to exist between races. And real love can never exist between black and white until justice flows down the mountain like a mighty stream. As long as black people are denied justice in America, the differences between black and white will never be reconciled individual to individual. Government has to be involved. And so Muhammad caused us to rise above race. And that's what the pilgrimage of Hajj is all about. One garment that all wear, one praise of God that we all sing, one movement around the sacred house, oneness of spirit. And until that spirit comes, then we will always be tribes and families that got to know one another but never got to love one another because God was absent in the equation. Before you can unite with others, black man and woman, you gotta first become a family among yourself. And so God has to raise you bigger than Catholicism, bigger than Lutheranism or being a Methodist or an Episcopalian or a Muslim. God has to raise your sights where you see me as a Muslim and you say, that is my brother. I see you as a Christian. That is my brother, my sister. And if you, sister, are my sister, and I, sister, am your brother, and your husband has walked out on your children are my nieces and my nephews. So I, as the uncle, your brother, have a responsibility to create family. If father is not there, uncle gotta be there. And that's why in the lessons of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the uncle was always mentioned, not the father, the uncle, because father is gone, but uncle has to step in. My father was gone, but my uncle stepped in. My mother needed a helper, a man's image, so my uncle stepped in. And he gave me a man's image until I met Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm X. Then another uncle stepped in because they are my mother's brothers. And so now he has grown me up to be an uncle. An uncle to all my nieces and nephews of children who are without a father, And that's why the enemy wants to destroy the image of any strong black man, because they don't want black men to find strength in another black male. They want us always to find strength in them. And so tonight, I'm asking you, when you leave this Astrodome, which they at 102 Jam have named Afrodome, when you leave here tonight, we didn't have the biggest crowd, but it's not quantity, it's quality. And what you got tonight for $15, for $25, or for $50, you got the giving spirit of these wonderful artists. They provided the honey, the sweetness. And Brother Farrakhan came behind them to provide some mortar so that the bricks could come together and be made into a solid wall, impregnable to any external or internal negative force. So when you leave this place, go out knowing that we all are family. And go out knowing that a strong family is the basis of a strong nation. But also go out knowing where your strength lies. It is with God. It is with submission to the will of God. It is in the love of God and the love of self and the love of your neighbor or brother as you love yourself. There's the strength of a real family. And that's the strength of a real nation. So would you join me in welcoming back to the stage all of those who helped to make this night what it became to all of us, all the singers, all the performers, all of the sponsors, Eddie and Gerald Levert. Ice Cube, let's head for the Cube. Johnny Gill, Gerald and Eddie Levert, father and son. Where's the Holy Ghost?
Praise be to Allah.
Come on, brother. Tommy Davidson. Where's Public Enemy? Are they still here? And our MC, Brother Jamal, TC Bandit, my sister, love you. Where's Brother Bellamy? They had to catch a plane. D.A. Smart and Kenny X. Come on, D.A., come on over. And brothers and sisters, I don't want you to think that we're male chauvinists. There is a sister in the house. Sister Stephanie, wonderful, coming home to family, Stephanie Mills. This was a great, great evening. And while we're all standing, would you do me a favor? Would you just hold each other's hands a minute? Don't squeeze too tight now. We just want to get the feel of family. I'm going to say a prayer, and then we'll be dismissed. But before I do, I want to thank the Astrodome and all the staff here for the wonderful way they have treated the Savior's Day Committee, a Family Day Committee, pardon me, and all of us. Thanks, Astrodome. I want to thank the constable, Brother A.B. Chambers. They provided me with a motorcycle escort from the airport to the hotel, from the hotel here, and I believe they'll provide me with a motorcycle escort back to the hotel. I didn't ask for it, but out of love and family, they offered their service, and we cannot thank God enough for that wonderful spirit in these brothers. We want to thank the mayor of the city of Houston, Bob Lanier, for a donation that he gave to give some tickets to some young people that they could come tonight. And who else did I miss? Brother Robert Muhammad. Come on out here, brother. Brother Robert Muhammad, our hard-working representative, and the Family Day Committee. The Family Day Committee, all of these beautiful sisters, brothers, without these, it would never have been. Judon Boney, we thank Allah for Brother Judon. And Jelani Williams, Deloyd Parker, Rodney Penn, Sister Ada Edwards, State Representative Al Edwards. Thank you. Thank you. And all of those on the host committee. I won't call off all of the names. We are 1 hour overtime, and I'm hoping that they won't kill us with an overtime bill. So let's thank the Astrodome in advance. And God willing, we hope to have Family Day 1995, if it is the will of God.